Innovation has been constant in the relatively short history of mountain biking. In the last few years, we've seen the emergence of electronic gears. But let's take a look at Shimano Di2 to see what it's all about. So what are the main differences between your average mechanical gears and these electronic gears? Well, come into the rear mech, from the bottom up, it looks quite normal. You've got the jockey wheels in the cage, you've got that shadow chain tensioner with a switch on and off there. It's spring tension, the rear mech is, but the biggest difference here is the motor on the back of the mech. So this is normally where your gear cable will come in. You've got a motor here and that wire coming out. Same on the front mech, looks kind of normal, the cage, but you've got that motor sat on top. So each wire from the mechs, so the front and rear mech, runs into a junction box that's inside my frame. One cable then comes up and goes to this LCD display up on my handlebars. This gives me a bit of information about my gears, so what gear I'm in, what shift mode I'm in, more about that later, and actually how much battery I've got left, because of course you need a battery to run these gears. There's a few different solutions for where to mount your battery. It can go externally on things like the bottle cage. I've got a really neat solution on this bike. It is sat internally inside my fork steerer tube, just under this plastic cap. So this is the small lithium ion battery that is actually really surprisingly light. Obviously, one of the disadvantages of running electronic gears is you have to remember to charge your battery. However, they do give up to 1,000 miles of battery life, so you shouldn't have to worry about that too much. The way you charge that, you don't have to whip it out actually, you just plug it in to the side of that display. So pretty simple when you do need to do the job. Another neat little touch is I'm using these Pro handlebars and stem, which is a subsidiary of Shimano, and the wires run internally, so they pop out the front of the stem and they run internally up to the final piece of the jigsaw, which is this shifter up on the bars. So the shifter is really customizable. You've got small Allen keys on the back to move these paddles around, but also if you plug your PC into the system, you can choose what this shifter does. So how fast you want the shifts, I've got it set up really fast. However, that does mean you could miss shift if you maybe hold your thumb on too long, but I do like that fast shifting. Also, you can set which paddle does what. At the moment, I've got the lower paddle changing to the higher gears and then the top one going to lower gears. You can swap that around if you wish. And also you can choose how many gears that paddle shifts at a time. You may have noticed that I've got a front mech and a rear mech, but only one shifter on the bar. That's because I'm taking advantage of something called Synchro Shift. You can run another shifter if you wish, but I think the Synchro Shift is actually a really clever system. So what that does is you just use your right thumb to do everything, and this system will find the next gear for you. So that might not be just a shift on the rear, it might actually be a shift on the front as well. So it takes the brain work out of it, and it will just find that next ratio. That's pre-programmed in. There's a couple of different programs in there already that you can choose, but also that is fully customizable, again, by plugging in your PC. This Shimano Di2 system is available for 1x, 2x and 3x systems. At the moment, you can see I've got 2 chain rings up front. Right, that's enough about the tech. Let's take it for a spin. You often have to shift under quite heavy loads when you're mountain biking, so putting a lot of power through the pedals. It's one thing I've definitely noticed with the electronic gears, they shift so quick that you don't have to ease off quite so much. Another nice little touch is the display gives me a little beep to tell me if the next shift is going to move on the front mech, and that's when you probably do need to ease off a little bit more.
So what are the advantages over mechanical shifting? Well, the gear shifts are really fast, they're really accurate. I guess the biggest advantage is the gear cable's never going to wear out, so like you often have to change your gear cables to get friction in them. It's just not going to happen with this. I guess the payoff is you're going to have to charge battery occasionally. It's quite a luxury having this display as well. I do like having that beep. It tells me when the front mech's shifting, but also there's another beep tells me when I'm in the extreme of the gear, so the highest gear or the lowest gear. It's a bit like carbon fibre mountain bikes. You don't need one. It's actually a very nice thing to have. If you want to see more videos like this, click on the GMBN logo to subscribe, totally free. Click down there for how to change your gear cable. Click over there for 1x versus 2x. Just thumbs up if you find this video interesting.